Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is a channel about cross stitching mostly. Today is Monday, February 17th. It's been a few weeks. I've had some sinus issues and allergy stuff. I don't know. It's been kind of not fun. But I'm back. I don't have much to share with you from the last couple of weeks. The week after my last video, I did my normal stitching, kind of did homework for magical stitches and all of that. The last 2 weeks have not been nearly as productive. In fact, this past week, Saturday is the only day that I actually did any stitching. I've done some organization, but I just haven't sat down with my stitching much over the last couple of weeks. Going to talk a little bit about like what I managed to accomplish in January, just kind of a little bit of a recap on that, and talk a little bit about the Whip Go and Stitch from Stash and that sort of stuff. And then I'll have a game for you because that's what I do. I'm going to start just... Sorry, my neighbors, we have a shared driveway, and you're probably hearing his truck out there. My husband has pretty much settled into his new job. He's really enjoying it. He likes the set hours and the no call and all of that. So that's been fun. Other than that, just the same old, except for just dealing with, you'll hear me. I'm probably going to be sniffling through all of this. So, yeah, hopefully you can bear with me on that. So yeah, just pretty much same old. We have began, I don't know if you've watched any of my stuff. I help run a gaming group, and we run a tabletop game, not just board games, but tabletop gaming convention in the fall. We've started our planning for that, so that's exciting. We have the dates. It's going to be October again, so that's going to be some of my focus over the next month. So that might take a little bit away, just as we kind of try to figure out deadlines and dates and what we need to have figured out for us, and then we'll start sending out all of that information to all of our sponsors and people. It's a charity convention, so we have sponsorship levels and all that. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's super worth it at the end, and everybody that comes seems to have a really good time, so that's pretty awesome. So now I guess that's it for life updates. I don't know, I mean, not a lot going on here. I got to play a couple of new games this past month, and I'm going to actually, I think this might be a game that I played in December, the one I'm going to share with you, but I've got it borrowed from my nephew, so I'm excited about having it here to share with you. So I guess without further ado, I'm just going to jump into my stitching. I get to start with the finish. I'm just going to go in the order that I worked on them. That's the easiest for me because that's how it's written out. I do have a planner, Jen Lee's 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Planner, which at some point I will share with you. Not sure when. I have to figure out the best way to do that because it's on my phone and I record it on my phone, so I may be having to wait until I can do some screenshots or something like that, and see how that works out. I'm pretty happy with how that's working for me though. And what else? My train of thought. Also, at some point, I'm thinking about talking about like how I organize things. One of the things that I bought this past week, which I'm not going to share because it's big and bulky, but I bought a new case for my floss. My floss storage right now is pretty much just DMC, so it's pretty easy. But it might be kind of fun to share with you how I store my floss, how I store my projects, how I mean, just how I organize my cross stitch stuff. I don't have a lot of space. Sorry about that little bit of camera recall. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know. If you're interested in the planner stuff, let me know, and I'll try to figure all of that out. But yeah, let's just jump into my first project was a finish. This is Skeledancers Daily Cross Stitch. This is one that I started last February, and then I just had most of this one's still left to do, but I was able to sit down in a night or two and finish that. And this is something I did for homework. I don't remember what the prompts were now because it was a few weeks ago, and I didn't really write that stuff down. And I don't know, maybe that's something I need to record in the planner too. I haven't. I don't know that it's really worth it. If I can stick to a weekly recording schedule, I have a better memory. So, but yeah, Skeledancers. It's super fun. Not sure yet how I'm going to finish it. I may just put it in a small frame. I like it. Next one that I worked on is Dragon by Valenti Cross Stitch. This was one of my Christmas presents that I'm working on from 2018. I think I did a fair bit on this one, but I don't remember exactly. I know all of this red down here, I'm pretty sure all of that is new. I think I mostly worked over in this area here. I still love this project. So yeah, that's just on 18 count Ada. The other one was on a 14 count ivory Ada, I believe. I should maybe, I will get through this and then we'll decide. Maybe talk about like what my cross stitch style is in case you can't figure it out from what I'm showing you. I don't know. Next was Autumn's in the Air by Faye Walsh, Little Dove Designs. This is from Cross Stitcher Magazine, September 2019. I am just doing this top part. This is just a screenshot printout so that I can show what I'm working on. Just doing this top part here. This is, I believe, 32 count, and I'm doing 1/1. I did, I think, all of the stairs, bunch of the door, and then maybe some of the windows up here. Again, it's been a couple of weeks, so I don't have a great memory of it, but I'm 99% sure I did the stairs at the very least. Yeah, I like it. It's cute. I think it'll be pretty once it's done. Again, that may just go in a frame. I don't know how I'm going to finish any of these. Most of the things just sit in a box, and I need to rectify that. Next was Santa's Workshop. This is a Janlin kit that I bought, oh gosh, 2000, I guess, early 2000, so it's old. And I'm still not very far on it. Just one of those that I worked on when I first bought it, and then it sat in a box for forever, so I have pulled it back out last year. Did some more work on the Northern Lights, and then I started on the Candle Glow from the Hurricane lamp. Now that I do remember that was maybe, no, that was extra credit. I don't think I had planned on using this for extra credit for the Hurricane prompt, because there is a Hurricane glass lamp there, but I don't know if I actually did that. See, like I said, my memory starts to wane after a couple of weeks. This is 28 count even weave that came with the kit. Next is Sunset Horse by Luna River Crafts. Yeah, a fair amount of this one done too, I think. I finished all of this area here, I think. I don't know. And then I worked a bunch up here. Maybe this was already done. I don't 100% remember. I love this. I think it's pretty. And that is a present that will go to my niece for her birthday. Her 10th birthday is in May. So next is Happy Owl-o-Ween. This is from the Halloween 2015 Just Cross Stitch by Breanne Jackson. This is what it will look like when it's done. Again, just a screenshot printout because I do this all digitally. And got a little bit more done on this pirate owl, who I love. This is also, I think this is an 18 count Ada, kind of an ivory antique white. Finished up this wing and his pirate hook, and then did some more stripes here. Next one was a new start and a new finish. It's just a small. This is from, I wish I would have thought to write this down, but I did not. I do have that information. I'll put it down in the link below. But it is from one of the cross stitch magazines available on Readly. And it's just this little octopus. I think he's cute. I really like him. But yeah, I'll put the information down about which magazine he was from. I want to say it's an older one. So basically, I'm just with the magazines, I'm trying to keep a small on the go all the time, just so it's an easy thing that I can travel with because it's on my phone. And I can actually show you that. I I have just this little project bag with a zipper. I think I showed it to you maybe my last video even. I can keep all of my flosses in the front and then my projects in the back. I can also put in my little case that has my scissors and needles and all of that. So yeah, that works really well. So basically I'll do one, and when I finish it, I'll start a new one. So yeah, I think he's adorable. So I will put that information about where he can be found in the description. And then my new start that I haven't finished, and this is the only one that I worked on last week, is Ho 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 Santa. This is from, I think, the 2014, 2015, one of those two just cross-stitch Christmas ornament ones. This is a Prairie schooler. There's a tree that comes down over here, and then some more of his suit, and that's all I have left to do. I think I'm more than half finished with it. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that probably this evening. I'm enjoying that a lot. My first Prairie schooler. So yay, I'm excited about that. I really like the aesthetic. I think I've mentioned that before, and I actually have a couple of their charts, but just haven't ever taken the time to stitch it. So yeah, super excited about that. And that's really what I've worked on. Like I said, not a lot of stitching the last couple of weeks. Sorry about this. I'm gonna be sniffling a little bit. My thing that I was gonna talk about last time with my new acquisitions that I didn't was cross-stitching supplies. There's a coupon here, so I'm not going. They had an ad that showed up that was like, get a free floss, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to turn down a thing of DMC floss. So I thought I would give it a try. Like I said, it's crossstitchingsupplies.com. I ordered 08 driftwood. And like I said, they sent a coupon code with it. Right now you can get, I think it's still, why am I out of focus? There I go. Right now you can get, I think, and I'm thinking about doing this and ordering and using my coupon code. We'll see. We'll see if I manage to get around to it, because I'm not really sure what I want or need. Floss is always a thing, I guess. But they're doing little kits so you can try out fabric. It's just a little like ornament sized thing, and you can try out, I think I may try the 40 count linen and just see if I can stitch with it, and see if it's worth buying a bigger piece, because I've thought about it. You can do just the kit, and that's like free, but you pay like 97 cents or something like that shipping. So that's still, I mean, if you want to try out a new fabric, I think that's pretty awesome. They have free shipping with $15 though, so yeah, I might. I don't know. We'll see. And I guess now's a good time to talk about like my stitching. You'll notice I do a lot of Etsy stitching and a lot of like magazine, because I have a Readly subscription, and especially like these little smalls, it's really easy to do. The Autumn's in the Air and the Happy Owl-o-Ween I also do off my phone on Readly. So yeah, those are, they don't take up space. I live in a pretty small house with my husband and daughter, and we have a lot of hobbies, and we I try not to make any one hobby take over the whole house, although our gaming hobby does a pretty good job of it. So but yeah, I have like a 2x2 calyx that I put all of my cross stitch stuff in. I think I shared a picture of it kind of on Instagram when I first moved it into the living room and put my cross stitch stuff. It was in our gaming room with game stuff on it, and I decided that I needed it more. Actually, I think I had a bunch of my quilting stuff on it, and I kind of moved my quilting stuff from where my cross stitch stuff was, and moved my cross stitch stuff to there. So it all worked out. We're still I'm just trying to make sure that I keep my not my finished pieces. They don't get anything other than just put in a box, unfortunately. But just make sure that that's where my cross stitch stuff lives. It's easier for me to find because it was kind of spread out a little bit between like the living room, and I have an office / craft room / game room / holds everything sort of thing. So I had some stuff in there. So yeah, it just kind of keeps everything together, which makes things easier for me. And that'll be part of what I show maybe when I do the organization thing, and just kind of break that all down. So yeah, I try not to just I have a lot of stuff on my phone, just charts that I've bought, there's a lot of places that do free downloads, so I'm never going to run out of projects to do. But I like having the Readly subscription just because it keeps giving me new stuff without me having to buy new stuff. I mean, obviously I pay for the subscription, but it's not, if I buy a larger, I also don't have a local needlework shop, so I can't just go down the road and buy charts or buy floss. If I buy floss locally, it's through Hobby Lobby. Even the Joann in the town that I visit the most doesn't carry DMC floss. They have some variety packs of cheap floss and like I think a couple of small kits, and that's all the cross stitching stuff that they carry. So yeah, I'm pretty limited in what I can just go and buy. Like I said, the owner of Color and Cotton has opened a needlework store in St. Louis, and we go there maybe once every 3 to 4 months. So we may be going there next month. Hopefully I'll get a chance to stop in. I'd really wanted to go to her grand opening, open house, whatever, and it just did not work out for us. So yeah, that's basically it. You will see a little bit of like traditional cross stitch from me every once in a while, but for the most part it's going to be magazines and Etsy and projects that I've had on the go for 20 years. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. But you know, I'm enjoying the hobby, and I guess that's what's the most important thing, is I'm having fun. I'm getting to start new things because I do all these little smalls from the magazines that take me a couple of nights to finish usually, so that's fun. I would like to get one of those done a week. That's not really been the case. I've gotten maybe a couple of months done, so we'll see how I do with that. So now I guess I'll go into my January recap. I worked on 13 projects over the month, for a total of 25 days stitching. There were 6 days that I didn't stitch at all. And that's always going to be the case. There's always going to be stuff going on, or just days I don't feel like. I just want to do other things, and that's fine. But yeah, I think 25 out of 31 days is still pretty good. My total stitches for the month, and this is usually stitching 2 to 3 hours on the days I did. Now, I did do the 24 hours of cross stitch marathon, so that weekend I did a little bit more, but it was just under 10,000. I did 9,631 stitches. So it would put me on target to do my 100,000 stitches by the end of the year if I kept that rate. Unfortunately, February is not going to show nearly that number, so we'll see. We'll see if I can get the momentum back up now that I'm not quite as congested and feeling a little bit better. I had 3 new starts, 2 of which I finished, and shared with you the Puffin and that little bat in the moon by Doreen Jones that I shared on my last video. So 3 new starts, 2 of them were finishes. I had a 3rd finish with the Skeledancers. I did that right at the end of the month and got that in there. So if I could always have the same amount of starts as finishes, that would be pretty good. But yeah, a lot of my new starts and my finishes are going to be the same ones, because like I have one finished so far for February, and it was a new start in February, and I will probably finish this Prairie Schooler Santa in the next couple of days, and it was a new start for February. But hopefully I can also I'm allowing myself, I think I've talked about this, one larger start each month, so if I could also finish one of the whips that I already had on the go before I started, not counting my Christmas ornaments. That's a whole nother thing that is not really, I don't count it with my whip count, even though obviously they were all started, but it's just kind of a little side thing that I'm not working on that much right now. I'd like to, but it's just not been priority. My 3rd new start was the Peppermint Purple Blackwork Sal, which the last time I showed it to you, I think I was caught up, and then I haven't worked on it since. So hopefully the next time we talk, I'm caught up, and it's pretty quick. It only takes a couple of hours to do each week for me, and that's with doing the border and all of that. So as we get into the interior parts, it shouldn't take me as long because there's not the border. So yeah, those are my starts. My stitch for stash, I have a monthly budget of $10, which was set to cover Readly, but when I re-upped Readly, it's now $12. So I'm already starting basically a couple of dollars in the hole. So I have to at least finish one of those to even, one of those little small projects to break even on that. I did not break even in January. For me, spent a lot. And I'm counting everything, really, unless it's a finishing thing. I'm not going to count, like, frames or if I go buy rickrack or sticky board or whatever I happen to want to finish each project with, because I'm just going to count that as a win if I manage to actually buy and do any sort of fully finished anything. But I am counting, like, floss bags, and I counted purchasing Jen Lee's planner. I'm not... I guess if it's actually part of what I need in order to make stitching easier for me, I'm counting it. If I buy a new pair of scissors, I'm going to count it. I know you don't have to, but my goal is to really push myself to finish some stuff so that I feel accomplished. And by counting everything, I think that will help me. So yeah, I had purchases of $53.43, which is... it's a lot for me for 1 month, just because, like I said, I don't buy a lot because I don't have a lot of places to put stuff. So, and I could see myself. I used to be a scrapbooker, and I lived in a larger place when I was a scrapbooker, and it was real easy for me to overtake an entire room with stuff that I bought and never used. So I don't necessarily want to do that, and I don't really have the room that I had at that point. So we lived in a much larger place. So. And I had a dedicated scrapbooking room at that point, so it was real easy for me to do that. When you have a 2x2 Calex, you have to really watch what you add to your collection, because I don't have a lot of extra space. But I wanted to set myself up with some stuff that I needed for sorry, my words are not working for me today. What I needed, like the planner, that was important to me because it gave me a good place. And like I said, I think I've put it to really good use. I can keep track of what I'm working on and what stitches. I used the little sidebar to talk about just as goals for what the homework is that week and stuff like that, which like I said, I've kind of ignored the last couple of weeks. I'm hoping to get back into that today. I haven't even looked at this week's homework, so I probably should do that. So yeah, my purchases were $53.43. My finishes were $12. I had two $2 finishes and then an $8 finish. The Skeledancers was an $8 finish. And so basically $22 in positive minus $53.43 left me with $31.43 in the red. And I feel like I'm gonna probably end February in the red too, just because I haven't been stitching and finishing stuff. And I have bought a little bit. Like I said, I bought a new case for my organization. And like I said, I know that doesn't have to count, but I want to count it because I want it to push me to, I want to end up in the black in the end, and I want to work for it. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't have to count that. Which is, if you do that, that's fine. It's just, for me, I think it's going to push me a little bit further. I feel like I am rambling big time today. Sorry about that. Whip Go, Skeledancers was on my Whip Go, but it's not been called yet. So, and the stuff that was called for January, I worked on both things, but neither one of them. One of them was Dragon for a page finish. The other one was, I don't even remember, but I'm not. I think it was one that I need to finish, and I'm not really close, but I have until December. So I'm going to just continue to work just like what I do, and once I get close to a Whip Go, I might like do some hyper focus on something that's been called if it's gonna get me my reward, which is I think I talked about this. It is going to be a over dye, not necessarily over dye, a non-craft store piece of fabric, because like I said, I'm pretty limited in what I can just go buy, and especially with fabric, I may end up ordering some from 123 Stitch, but I really want to, for the most part, be able to look at it in person. And like I said, there are a couple of LNSs within areas that I travel to. The hours don't always work for me. So we'll see. We'll see how I make it work. But like I said, I'm not anywhere close to getting a WIPGO. The right numbers for any WIPGO have not yet been called anyway. So I will worry about that when I get to it. I think that's it I have for not scrapbooking. Oh my gosh, I talked about scrapbooking so much during this video that I forgot what I was shooting. I think that's it for my cross stitching. So now I will talk about the game. The game I'm going to talk about, like I said, I have borrowed it from my nephew, so I don't actually own it. We just played it, so I can talk about it because I've only played it once before, and it's been, I think it was December. So it's been a couple of months since I played. It is Rome by Ryan Lockett. Red Raven Games. I'm going to start just by bragging on Ryan Lockett a little bit because he is a one-man show. He does the publishing. He owns his own publishing company, so he publishes all his own games. He does all of the artwork, and he designs the games. Yeah, and they're pretty good games. We have a couple of his, at least one other one set in the same universe by him called Near and Far, but this is a much easier and faster game. That's like a campaign game, and it goes on, and but this is it's called Rome, and the way it's played is everybody has their own color of these tiles, and you're going to have a grid of these kinds of cards that you will place your tiles on. So like here's one, and I'll kind of explain what all of the part is in a second here. I need to find somebody's starting cards. I should have had this probably a little bit better worked out. So you get this starting card hand of 3 cards, and it tells you you can place your tiles based on the tiles in the bottom corner. So the red with the outline means that you have to be able to place a tile there. You can't like only play one of these tiles and not play the other 2, and they will play out exactly like it faces you on the grid in front of you. And there'll be 6 of these set out in like a 2x3 grid. And you just place your tiles down according to your color. The blank one with the dotted line around it is an optional one. You don't have to be able to place there. You don't have to place there. If you wish to place there, you will pay a couple of coins in order to do so. So it gives you an extra ability to maybe place a tile if you so choose. In order to do that, you will pick which one you want to do, and then you will turn it over to the back side. Once all of your cards are turned over, you can, at the start of your next turn, put them all back up so you can use all of your cards, but you can't use a card again until it's been turned up, right side up again. There is a way to replenish your cards before that by paying some extra coins. I think I did that once. I think basically you pay the amount of coins that you have guys still up. So I had 2 guys that didn't really work for me with what was there, so I paid the 2 coins and got to have all of my abilities back as far as where I could place things. Once one of these is filled up, you will count and see who has the most tiles of their color there. And that person will get the card. If there is somebody who has, like if there's a tie, if 2 people have the same amount, you start an auction, sort of. You bid. Whoever is the person who actually placed the last color tile there will start. And it just goes, it goes in a bidding order. You can bid 0, so if you don't really have any money, or know the start player and you just don't think anybody else really wants to bid money on it, you can bid 0, or they can't, because you can see how much coins they have. So you can bid 0 and get this, and then that's going to become another card in your playing field that allows you to do these movements or whatever. There's a bunch of them. So you'll see. Let me go this way so you can see some of the different. So some of them are simple, kind of like the starting cards, and some of them, actually some of those are the starting cards. But yeah. And they also, on the back, have victory points that score points at the end of the game. So when you get these cards, you get victory points as well as the ability to use them for your movement during the game or for your placement during the game. The other thing is that you can do with your coins, other than just buy, is you can buy what are called artifact tiles. So here's one. This allows you to flip over one of your cards without having to pay money to do so. So if there's a card that you have that's flipped over that you've already used and you really think that it would be a good card for you to use this turn, you can flip just that one over. Or if you only have one card left to be flipped over, so you can turn all your cards over, you can use that to flip that over instead of paying the coin for it. This allows you to, when you're placing your tiles, replace another player's tiles with one of yours. There's a bunch of this ones. This allows you to move one of your tiles over a space. So yeah, there's just different things. And these also have victory points on them. These work the same way when you use them. They will flip over and then they will flip back over when you flip all your cards over. The first person to get 10 cards, including the 3 they start with, in front of them ends the game. You keep playing until everybody's had an equal amount of turns. And then you just count up your victory points. It's pretty easy. It's pretty fun. I enjoy it a lot. And the artwork is just absolutely, he's a fantastic artist and a great designer. Red Raven Games, if you come across them, they're worth looking at. So Rome by Ryan Lockett was my game. I enjoy it. I think it came out last year, so it's a fairly new game. But I wanted to share it with you while I actually had a copy in my household because, like I said, it belongs to my nephew. We've got it borrowed. My daughter wanted to show my husband how to play, so and see what he thinks of it. So that'll be another. We'll play it again at some point this week with the 3 of us. So I've played it 4-player. Now I've played it 2-player, so I'll get to play it 3-player and play it. It plays 2 to 4 players, and it takes maybe, I think the 2-player game, I don't think we play maybe 20 minutes. It says 45, I think, on the box, but that's probably for a 4-player game because it's going to increase the more players you have because everybody has, I mean, the goal is always going to be 10 cards, I think. I don't think that changes with more players. So, yeah, it's pretty quick, especially at 2 players, and still really enjoyable at 2 players. I'm curious to see how the 3-player game goes because sometimes it doesn't work out as well. But yeah, I will link the Board Game Geek page for this in the description as well as any of the projects that I talked about that I can link. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a great week. Hopefully I'll be back next Monday if everything works out well, and hopefully I'll have some stitching to show you. Like I said, last week was bad as far as stitching goes, but hopefully next week is better. Y'all have a lovely week, and I will see you later. Bye.